I'm kind of known for having a dark sense of humor, and for me, that's a coping mechanism, and I'm completely aware of that. So I know I have made jokes in the past, maybe on semi-public platforms about abortion. But in all honesty, my stance is I am pro-choice within reason. I think once a baby can survive outside the mother's womb, if you decide to have an abortion at that point, then you are not aborting that baby, you're murdering it. I think that's criminal, and I do not agree with that. I think there are too many people who would kill for a baby, and it's not a situation where you're necessarily trapped. And if you become pregnant and you don't act quickly enough to handle that, I'm sorry, like that's your problem. Like you can't let this life form grow inside of you until it's formed a completely functioning little body with completely functioning organs, and it's a human being, and then go ahead and just say, no, you know what, I changed my mind, I'm not ready for this. So that being said, I've been really disgusted lately with a lot of the congressional Democrats pushing bills, as in New York and Virginia, trying to pass or passing for third-term abortions or post-birth abortions. And that's the real disgusting one. When I first saw that this was an issue, the question that popped into my head was, all right, why would Democrats be pushing for this bill? Like, why are you proposing a murder bill, basically? And the only thing I could think of was that it will appeal to those diehard, extreme radical liberals. And those are the noisemakers on social media. Those are the ones that are going to get out there and protest and, stop traffic and shut down the freeway and, wear pussy hats or whatever they're going to do. That's that genre. And they're also the ones who are going to drive votes from the rest of the party. So I feel like this is political angling for the next presidential election. I feel like Cuomo wants to run for president, and this is a good way for him to get positive attention from the left, which is disgusting. He lit up the World Trade Center in New York pink and celebrated, openly celebrated when he passed the bill for third trimester abortions. You don't normally celebrate when you pass a bill, especially not something like that. You're celebrating death, basically. I feel like the celebration was a victory in his eyes, in a huge leap towards him running for president. And where it's really going to come into play is Ruth Bader is 85 years old. So there is going to be a new opening on the Supreme Court inevitably sooner rather than later. And traditionally, Republicans tend to vote with that in mind more often than Democrats. Democrats haven't really considered the Supreme Court seats in the past as much. It doesn't drive them to vote. But if you start creating this uproar now and then create this, make it a giant women's human rights issue, it will change and it will drive Democrats to vote. And just like the Kavanaugh hearing, I think you're going to see that. And I think you're going to see a lot of Roe versus Wade Supreme Court talk as we get closer to the election from the left. And it's crazy to me that babies have to die so they can drive votes. Like that's where we are. But it doesn't surprise me at all if that happens to be the case. I don't know if that's the angle. This is just a theory. So I then went and listened to Alex Jones on Rogan's podcast this week. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist person. Like I'm not going to dive into everything and believe everything. I'm very skeptical and I do a lot of research on my own. When it comes to everything, I could just read the most redundant fact and I will go down the rabbit hole and research it for hours. But that has to do with my ADD, I guess. So when it came to Alex Jones on Rogan's podcast, there was one particular segment that blew my mind. And I'm going to play a clip here in a minute. But if this is true, then this is really, really, really ugly. And after I play that clip, I'm going to throw some facts out that I've actually researched. Because at first, when I heard it, I was like, there's no way. This is just too ridiculous, too far-fetched, too extreme Alex. And then when I started to do even just a little bit of research, I realized real quick that he's probably onto something. So that could be another motivation.
Who are they? They're scientist cults who were based on your psychic ability and on your IQ, and then on your commitment to the program. And so the program starts with, will you go inject black people with syphilis for a greater cause? Or will you do research programs on babies where we tell poor women that, your baby died right when they were born, but really go keep the baby alive and sometimes kill them, sometimes harvest them, sometimes do experiments on them. So that's why not a lot of nurses have noticed now that the babies disappear at birth. And they tell them, your baby died. That's why the governor said, who's actually an organ harvesting doctor, he goes, we keep the babies alive after they're born and have a discussion. They are getting caught now because we've decompartmentalized.
Wait a minute. I'm confused at what you're saying.
But see how it just never ends.
Yeah. What are you saying about babies? Like, what are they doing with babies?
You saw the governor of Virginia say, we keep babies alive after they're born and kill them, right?
Well, I didn't see that.
We keep them comfortable.
But I am very, very concerned with late-term abortions.
Well,
very
concerned.
Take a look at Ralph Northam's actual clip so you can see what he said in that interview for yourself.
So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. So I think this was really blown out of proportion.
So I saw what Alex had to say on the podcast, and my knee-jerk reaction was, there's no fucking way. Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, this is the most ridiculous conspiracy theory, like, right up there with chemtrails and flat Earth. And then I did a little bit of homework, and I saw the Ralph Northam radio interview, and it was really peculiar the way that he worded things. So I decided to do a little more digging, and sure enough, I immediately found that Planned Parenthood in California, San Bernardino, and Orange County specifically, settled for $7.8 million, which is basically just a judicial slap on the wrist, in 2017 in a case where they were found selling aborted baby body parts and organs for profit. So when you think about how disgusting that is, like, and when I was reading that case, my stomach was just turning. Like, you're literally aborting babies and then selling their parts for profit. So it does make sense, in a way, what Alex was saying. If they're selling newborn, organs for profit, I'd imagine that once those babies are a week, 2 weeks, a month old, and the organs are more developed, it's probably worth a lot more. And it looks like that is his accusation, and now it doesn't seem so far-fetched. So all this digging on the internet, a video was suggested to me through YouTube, and I'm going to close with that video because it resonates with me. The girl in this video wanted to see how hard it would be to schedule a third trimester abortion, and she goes through the process on the phone. So I'm going to leave you with that, and please feel free to leave any of your theories, ideas, or thoughts in the comments.
I'm 38 weeks and 5 days pregnant. Let's see if I can schedule an abortion.
We are looking at what we call a labor and delivery process this time. We would be going through 2 days of preparation of the body, and we would induce labor. So you would be going through active labor and delivery, but it would be in the stillborn. We're probably looking at a $17,000 fee at this